Hi guys, my name's Liam and I'm the Aussie Aspie. So today is a bit of a video about who I am, what I am, and how I got to be where I am today. So yeah, on with the video. So my name is Liam. I'm a 25-year-old living in rural South Australia. I'm a farrier by trade. I started this channel in an attempt to try and get more acknowledgement of Aspies and some of the issues we face and some of the problems we have in day to day life. Um, but I suppose some of that doesn't really make sense if no one knows where I actually came from. So I grew up down in Adelaide. I spent a few years there until my parents sadly went through a divorce, and then I moved out to Murray Bridge. Um, I went through schooling, suffered a lot of bullying, and suffered a lot of mental health issues because of the bullying, because I was different. One of the biggest problems was one of my principals had the opinion that Asperger's and autism were just the new asthma, and everyone was going to be diagnosed with it. There was nothing different about them. They were just weirdos, and they needed to just conform and shut up and stop stealing valuable resources from other students. Um, I was bullied quite a bit by one student in particular. Um, to the point I at one point did attempt suicide. Um, so that was a real low point for me. But I had a good family and I had some good friends around me that were trying to pick me up, lift me up, and get me to move on with my life, which I did. I don't really hold too much ill will against the kid who bullied me because, in all honesty, I look back now and I see how his father treated him and several other people on the basketball team that his father coached, and I pity him for having such a deplorable father. He was just not a nice man. He was not the man that should have been around children. But and I moved on to a couple other schools, and not much really to talk about there until I finally went to Mount Barker High School, and towards the end of year 11, we had a real tragedy in our school. A girl in one of my classes in my year level, she had a fatal accident. I'm not really going to go into the details on that, but it really affected the school and the whole township, and and a lot of people. It was a really bad time. Really did bring the school together. And then from there, I went on and I got a school-based traineeship working in a racing stable. So that's how I started working with horses. And with the stable, I I had a lot of people, going, "Oh, horses are stupid," and this, that, and the other, and people going, "Oh, why would you want to work with horses?" But I discovered very early on that I got along with horses really well, and I've been working with horses ever since. I loved my job, even though I was starting at 4:30 in the morning and might not finish until 11 o'clock in the morning. But I really loved my job, and I loved doing it, and I really enjoyed all the stuff with the horses. And I had a few issues, as everyone does at work. Um, be quite honest, my boss carried on that. I want assistance for him, but he'd get the assistance offered, but unless the assistance went 100% of the way, he wasn't willing to meet them halfway. So sadly, things there didn't end on a really good note. But anyway, I quit working there and moved out to where I'm living now, and started working for another trainer who was in Murray Bridge. And he's an absolutely ripper of a trainer. He's very much an acquired taste. He taught me a lot, and I learnt a lot. He's very much part of the old boys club in the racing industry, but I have great respect for him. He didn't let me get away with anything. He didn't care that I was on the autism spectrum. It was, if you're here to work, you're here to work. You're not here for anyone to pander to you, and I actually enjoyed working in an environment like that. Because I'd always struggled with school. I'd always struggled with text-based learning, but if I could touch and feel and work it with my hands, I could understand it quite easily. And so I really loved working with the horses, because horses, in all honesty, horses are basically on the autism spectrum. If you don't keep their routine the same in, day out, they lose the plot and they'll have meltdowns. If you don't do things in the right order for them, they start carrying on like a pork chop. So I really did enjoy working with the horses, and that's why I still do it now as a farrier. I'm just working on a different part of the horse. But yeah, no, so there's a lot to do with the horses. I love being a farrier. It's great because you learn so much and you do so many different things. No two horses are the same when it comes to looking after their feet. So it's just a really interesting job, and I've always loved it, and I want to keep doing it for many years to come. So that's where I am with my work. But outside of work, I volunteer a lot. I volunteer with my local state emergency service. We do a lot of all sorts of things. We do everything from trees falling on roofs, on cars, on roads, clearing those, all the way through to someone's had a crash and needs to be cut out. We do that. If someone's fallen into the river and needs to be rescued, we can do that. That we just do a lot with our unit, and it's very varied, and I really enjoy doing it because I find doing something with your life, especially on the autism spectrum, finding something that you can take pride in yourself doing is really good. So I've been working with the SES for over 8 years now, and I take great pride in what I do, and I take great pride in being able to say that I'm a volunteer of 8 years. And I think it's very important for people on the spectrum to find something to do, whether it's paid work or it's volunteering. Find a outlet for you to use, because it really does help. So yeah, that's just a short video. I can go into more depth about my schooling, my education, how my Asperger's has affected me through school, education and work, if you want. So yeah, please like, share and subscribe, because it really does help the channel. And if you really like what I do, you can buy my merch. Link's going to be in the description.